Alright, here we are. The session has been restored, and I've done my best to put things back to how they were before the crash. So let's start again. And we're kind of gonna pick a spot in the middle, see what we got here, and then we'll look at settings. When I just understand, though I may not see the plan you have for plan, I leave it all, Lord, in your hands. I think we can see that the levels are pretty good now. And they're just short of how many, let's see. When I just short of -3. So let's look at settings. And because I had to redo this, they are slightly different. So we have a nice curve here, right about centering around 80 hertz. I decided to go ahead and do it that way the second time around. When I just so we can turn it off in here. Understand, though I may not see. So just a little bit cleaner. And these are very, very subtle adjustments. So with the exception of maybe, let's see what the bass has here. Understand, though. So there's, as you could hear, a little bit more high end on the bass, which I trimmed off because I want those frequencies to be taken up by the other parts, which you do want to hear. And so we can look at the tenor, and you can see we've trimmed off a bit of the highs and a bit of the lows, right around 100 hertz, because it's higher frequency than 80 hertz. And we can turn it off. I may not see. And there's quite a bit of air on there. And again, this was recorded right here in Audition, and I believe I used the baby bottle microphone for the other every part except the bass part, I believe. It's been a while. Though I may not see the plan. You say that sounds muffled, but put them all together. When I just understand, though I may not see the plan you have for plan, I leave it all, Lord, in your hands. Okay, so, and I'm remembering to save now, considering what happened last time. Okay, so we have our finishing touches. Now, before we go to putting effects, other effects on it, I generally like to mix in what some people call a very urgent and upfront, sort of like a live feel. For the most part, depending on what it is, I may mix slightly differently, but for the most part I like the closer to live sound, and that way you feel like you're right in the middle with the group. So I'm going to look at pitch correction. Is that something, as you may have noticed from the last part, some of the parts were a little bit off, especially in the, let's say, the bass and the tenor. So now there's a pitch shifter, which is not really what I want, because what that will do, let's see, we're on the lead track, so let's, oh, can't solo it, huh? Oh, I can, okay. Then when I so just if I move this, don't understand, though I may not see. See, that's not what I want. I don't want to shift the whole pitch. And then sense. I need to learn what that means, but I know it. And when I just don't understand. it can sort of thicken. It doesn't do the same thing as semitones.
When I just don't.
I notice it does sound a little bit more natural than if I were to do this. Oh, wow. Okay, I think I'll...
Then when I just don't.
Okay, so let's put that back to 0 and put this down.
Then when I just don't
It still sounds like me, more or less. So, so that's our pitch shifter. And that is not the effect we want. So now I could click remove effect, or I could just come over here and say automatic pitch correction. Okay, now I believe, as I remember, this is in the key of D. It is helpful to know that. Otherwise, you're kind of going with, say, chromatic.
Then when I just don't understand, though I may not see the plan you have for me.
So I'm going to go with major, key of D.
Then when I just don't understand, though I may not see the plan you have for me.
Okay. Excuse me. So save once again. So that sounds about right. Now where I noticed the straying pitches were in stuff like the tenor part, and just like I did in Reaper, you're going to see that we can organize the tracks. So I'm going to move this one, put the tenor there, baritone there. Very simple. Now here is actually your track color, and this is how you pick track color. It's just one click, and but I like that color, so I'm going to leave it there. Now let's see if I stray in pitch anywhere here.
See the plan I will.
Pretty good so far.
Oh Lord, in your hand.
Just come over here.
All
Excuse
my
me.
burdens in your hands. Ooh,
You see it wobbles a little bit in there. So it's not anything extreme. It's not like I'm taking something where I didn't sing at all and just, correcting it. So let's see if that works here.
Leave all my burdens in your hands.
Oh, wow.
I'll leave it in your hands. Leave it in your hands. Even when I just don't understand. Though I may not see the plan you have for me.
Okay, now that's a little bit aggressive. So let me put it down to, let's say, 50, because we're starting to get a little auto-tune, and I'm not T-Pain, so we're and this is certainly not the song where you'd want to do that.
Leave all my burdens in your hands. I'll leave it in your hands. Leave it in your hands.
Let's experiment.
Even when I just don't understand. Though I may not see.
Yeah, it's starting to get that auto-tune sound. So let's put it back down to 50.
Leave,
I believe, yeah, that's good.
leave all my burdens in your hands.
Let's do the same with the tenor.
I'll leave it in your hands. Leave it in your hands. Even when I just don't understand. Though I may not see the plan you have for me, I'll leave it all, Lord, in your hands.
Okay, it's not the key of C, it's the key of D. And I wonder if there is any way to copy and paste these like there is in Reaper, but I don't know. probably what I could do actually is if I come over here, well, this is the closest last applied rack, but I don't want to do that because that's going to do every, well, here's a bunch of presets here. I don't want to do every every effect because I want to keep the EQ the same. So I'm going to come over here and do this one very separately. So there we go. And once again, 50. Okay. Now let's see if we sound like an auto-tune effect.
I'll leave it in your hands.
Does it even work on the bass, I wonder?
In your hands. Even when I just understand.
Solo it.
Though I may not see the plan, I leave it all.
I'm impressed. It actually seems to be working.
In your hands. In your hands. In your hands. I leave all my worries in your hands. In your hands. In your hands. I leave all my burdens in your hands. I leave it in your hands. Leave it in your hands.
You can still hear it fluttering a little bit, which is not the sound I want. So that is why the first time around I did not do any pitch correction, not because I thought I didn't need it, but because, you know, it just sounds a little bit artificial and manipulated. Now, I'm sure with a third-party plugin of some sort, I could get it to sound a little less manipulated. But once again, this is a shootout, sort of, versus, so we're going to see how Reaper handles that in a minute or two here. So I'm just going to go to, we have fairly nice levels. And one really cool thing is you can use the same thing as in Premiere with your shuttles. So the JKL keys, so L is forward, J is backwards. And depending on how many times you tap it, it'll go faster or slower. So once, normal, twice, double speed. And then, of course, we have your shuttle sound. Okay, so, all playing aside, there are a couple of effects that I put out at the end, and I put them on the master track because I wanted it to apply to all of them and for them to sort of gel like they're in the same room. So let's hear those effects.
I'll leave it in your hands. Leave it in your hands. Even when I just understand. Though I may not see the plan you have for plan, I leave it all, Lord, in your hands. In your hands. In your hands. I leave all my worries in your hands.
So I've applied, this is a Native Instruments replica. It's a delay effect, and I have an echo. And just because they added a little bit something different, this is almost like a see, 93 and 7. So if I were to punch that, sort of a big reverb space.
I'll leave it in your hands. Leave it in your hands. Even when I just understand.
So you can understand where we have that
Though I
down.
may not see the plan you have for plan,
And then we have this delay here.
leave
try and mix.
In your hands, in your hands.
That's sort of a so on all the S's, it just adds a nice little flutter. Now I'm hearing that auto tune effect, which I'm not liking too much, but once again, this is a shootout, so let's hop over to Reaper and see what we have. Okay, so now that we've basically finished, mostly finished anyway, the track here, let me just make sure I've saved that once again. Oh, it is saved. Now, we're going to see what we can do here. Okay, now one thing I have not done is the master track. As you can see, there's one for each of them, but not the master. Here's how you show the master track. And I'm going to do a similar thing. I'm going to put on replica. Just make sure I get the right one. Replica. And then I'm also going to add... I'm going to do the opposite thing here because this is like I don't have a nice echo here inside of Reaper. There's a reverb, which sounds kind of metallic to me, but I'm going to use a Scarlet reverb, and then I'm going to use the replica as sort of a more of a delay sound, but we'll do that later. For now, I'm just going to disable the effects, which is very easy. You just hit this minus. At least that's the way you do it on the individual tracks. I guess on the master track, you just have to uncheck them. Okay, so already that sounded quite musical, but that's not what we're doing. We are trying to do some pitch correction. Now, this, for me, is where Reaper shines. And it's called Retune. So I'm going to filter it to just the Reaper stock effects so we can find it quickly. And Retune. Now, we could set it to do it automatically right here. And you can select the key. You can say D major. And we're going to put this down to 50 instead of 250. And we're going to say 3.1.4 soloist. Yeah, we'll go soloist. Okay. And then we can just run it. Oh, and tell it to automatically pitch correct. Save changes. Oh, no, I don't want to save the rack. I want to save the changes. There we go. And you can see it gets right to work.
I'll leave it in your hands. Leave it in your hands. Even when I just don't understand. Though I may not see the plan you have for me, I leave it all, Lord, in your hands.
So, let's see if it... by the way, I am eating in this one, like several of my tutorial videos. Okay, so, pointless information basically, but random fact. So, let's see if it has trouble the same place it did in Audition.
Understand, though I may not see the plan.
Let's hear that again.
Understand, though I may not see the plan you have for me, I'll leave it all, Lord, in your hands.
Okay, so that's with the auto pitch correction, and it's not bad. We could simply, like I showed before, we can take that and we can come over here and we can say we want this effect in here, so we'll go ahead and paste, And we'll do the same for this part. And this saves you doing some settings. I already did that one. Let's do bass. Ooh, and this one opened really large, didn't I? Okay. Let's make this small again. Alright. So now I've got these effects on all of them. Very good. Alright. So let's just unsolo the lead track and see what we got for all of it.
Understand, though I may not see the plan you have for me, I leave it all, Lord, in your hands.
Okay, so I notice on the bass track at least, which is why I pulled that up, it's sort of, it doesn't know what to do with some of these notes. So
understand, though I may not see, I leave it all, Lord, in your hands.
So it's not recognizing some of that as even notes, which is kind of funny, to me anyway. So that is one way to do it. But one way that we can do, and I'm going to do this because of this, I'm going to do it with the bass track. I'm going to do manual pitch correction. So we're going to come over here and turn off auto. Come over here and let it paint for, actually, let's, excuse me. Let's undo what we just did. So listen to the whole thing. See if it sounds strange, because this was the problem area.
Understand, though I may not see the plan you have for me, I leave it all, Lord, in your hands.
Okay, so it's not bad, but it does have some of the same artifacts. So starting with the bass part this time, I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you manual pitch correction. So the way we get that done is we'll actually play through the whole song and it will capture the notes.
I'll leave it in your hands, leave it in your hands, even when I just don't understand. Though I may not see the plan you have for me, I leave it all, Lord, in your hands, in your hands, in your hands. I leave all my worries in your hands, in your hands, in your hands. I leave all my burdens in your hands.
Oh, it's really messing up that lead.
I'll leave it in your hands, leave it in your hands, even when I just don't understand. Though I may not see the plan you have for me, I'll leave it all, Lord, in your hands.
Okay, well, and we are running low on time. I gotta quit pretty soon here. But I just thought I'd point out, before we push this to another video, that where it drops out, that's usually where it can't read the note as an actual note. So just very briefly, I'm going to demonstrate how this works. So you'll click here, you'll drag, and that's how you will lock the note to that pitch. So here we go. So if we want this to stay solid, we'll just pull it across. There we go. I'm sorry. Okay, now let's see. I want this one to be straight because you see it travels up a little bit. So, and this one we'll just leave alone because so some of the notes it's not getting. Okay, I'm going so
understand though I mean.
okay, so I think this next one is actually down here. Just bring that down.
Though I may not see the
So you get the idea. You can very easily tune it, and it doesn't sound too unmusical. So that is the job now, is to do that with all of these tracks, you know, to tune it up nicely. And we'll tackle that probably in the next video. And yeah, stay tuned for that. All right, thanks for watching.